Hello people of YouTube, it's Deepak here, and welcome to DCS World 2.9.16 and Eagle Dynamics AH-64D Apache module. Welcome to tutorial 15, Datalink. Today we're going to take a quick look at the SMDL, which is the simple modem-based data link in the AH-64D. Today I'm flying with John Bloor. I'm just going to unmute him quickly. There's John Bloor. Hello.
Hello.
And he's going to be helping me demonstrate how the data link is used in the Apache. First, a very quick bit of setup. I'm going to demonstrate how to very quickly verify your data link is set up. I will do a later tutorial or an addendum where I'll demonstrate the full process because there's really a lot in this. You can include various different donors and team members into your data link, and we're not going to cover that today because it would take too long. However, your basic settings are in the COM page. Your presets are down the left and right hand side. You're going to have up to 10 presets for the data link. Note that each data link net can contain up to 16 aircraft, including yourself, so 15 others. We're using preset 1L1 on the VHF. We can box that, and if we go into net, we want to confirm basically our own ship information. So that's team members. So G12 actually is John. My originator, this is basically my own ship information, is G-11, and my ID is 11. Now note that both the call sign, the originator, and the data link ID, this numerical entry, must be unique on that particular data link. So that's how you check all of that. I'm going to come back out of net now. The other thing to check is which data link you're currently using. If we move across here to the EUFD, or the Enhanced Upfront Display, you're probably all mostly familiar with how this works. However, I'm going to very quickly go over it. You can see the VHF radio here, the top entry. This is the one that I'm currently using for the data link. You can see that it's using preset number 1, which was the one we just looked at, and data link L1. So that confirms all of that. The data link rocker can be moved up and down, and this controls which data link you're transmitting on. You're always receiving on all of them. All defined data links will receive, but only the boxed data link will send. So I can use this data link rocker to move it up and down. Note that this box with the unfilled diamond is my transmission, my selected transmission channel. The diamond here is where my other crew member is going to transmit. So right now I'm in the CPG seat, so I can move this box to show which channel the CPG is going to transmit on. The diamond is my pilot, and that's what channel he's going to transmit on. Usually you're going to leave them both together. And as before, the RTS allows you to change what radio you're talking on. The left arrow is me. The right arrow is my other crew member, again in this case that's the pilot, and the boxes show which radios we're both listening to. If I pull, say, UHF, if I pull the switch for UHF, you'll see my little square disappear, so I'm no longer monitoring UHF. If I push it in, it goes back in again. That's a very involved set of information. Other thing to note actually is that the data link is transmitted over the same frequencies and the same configuration that is used for voice. So my preset number 1 is 127.5 on VHF. That is voice and data, just so you know. Okay, moving on. We're going to hit the basics of the use of the data link. There are many different things that you can do with it. Some of them are accessed from the COM page, some of them are accessed from the TSD, and finally radio frequency handover is accessed from the FCR page. We're going to do the COM page first. On the main COM page, you've got this little message box at the bottom right. Usually you'd have an option for receive, but I've not received anything yet, and I've got an option for send. If I click send, I have, well, what appears to be 4 different options, but in actual fact at this time only 2 of them really work. So we've got text and we've got current mission. If I go into text, I then further have the option for MPS, which is, I forget exactly what that stands for, but it's like Mission Preset System or something. Basically, these are just presets for common messages you might send. Free allows me to type up to 4 lines of text, and that text can be anything I want. So I'm going to choose text line 1, and I'm going to put something particularly intellectual into this. Press enter, and that's line number 1. And I could just hit send. Now, note that it confirms to me where it's going to send it. It's saying VHF L1. So everybody who is a member of Datalink 1 would receive this. I'm going to hit send now. It does inverse video, and then it goes back to normal. That means that I received an acknowledgement. John, you should have received a very thoughtful message from me.
Let's have a look. Oh, how rude.
So what John would have done is he would have gone to the com page and pressed receive to receive that message. John, I wonder if you can offer me a response so I can demonstrate what that looks like.
Absolutely.
There we go. You hear that sound? If I look over at the EUFD, I've got DL message showing up on the third row. If I come back over here, I can choose message receive. I see I've received free text over the link from G12. I can select it and choose review, and I received "Geez your laptop."
Get your laptop.
Very good. Now I can just turn off the review, or I can delete this. This message is very near and dear to me, so I'm not going to delete it. I'm going to keep it in the buffer, and I can go back to the com page. If I go back to message send, I also have this option here, current mission. If I choose current mission, this is everything that's been loaded into the computer system via DTC at the start of the mission. So all of these I could send to John. So my waypoints, note the areas and lines are not implemented yet, so we can skip over those, but waypoints, targets and threats, control measures, my current route, actually it can be any of the routes in fact, my laser codes. Can I send... okay, these are just settings across the top, so we can ignore those. Or I can choose all, and it'll send everything. For now, I'm going to send John my laser codes, just for fun. So if I hit send, again, inverse video, and then it will go away. John will have heard that little ding-a-lingy sound, and if he goes into his receive, it will show up in there as a file that he can load if he wants to. Now, note that if you send somebody waypoints, or targets, or any of these other things from your DTC, if they store them, they will overwrite everything that they currently have on the computer, so, you know, be aware of that. Okay, so I've just quickly reset, and we're now going to demonstrate sending and receiving points. So I'm going to switch to attack phase. You can see that I already have this target at the end here. I think it's supposed to be an SA6 site. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click point at the bottom right, and I'm going to move my cursor over that point and select it with the cursor depress, and I have the option here exmit. So I'm going to choose exmit to transmit, and it will give me my current network members kind of wrapped around the side here. -12, -13, -14. Now, note I can only do this with primary members. I should have noted actually before, the stuff on the com page that I showed you, that needs to be team members. So these are two different kinds of Datalink members. Team members can work with the com page stuff. Primary members work with the TSD and with the FCR. So I'm going to select -12, that's John. I'm going to hit send. And John will now receive this target point.
Received.
Nice. Now, unlike the current mission points that I demonstrated before, this does not overwrite, this appends. So, you know, however many target points John already had, he now has one more, which is nice. Let's demonstrate what this looks like. John, I wonder if you could create a target point at random and transmit it to me, and we'll see what that looks like.
Roger that.
And then we'll move on to reports, which is another handy one. Okay, now note, I heard the sound. I have TGT/threat show up on the EUFD, and on the TSD page, there is the option to receive. If I click receive, it'll show me the most recent things I've been sent, targets and threats from G12 over the link. If I choose that, it will immediately load it. So here you go, I've now got this one here that says 09. And if I go to coordinates and I page over. There's 09. It's type just TG, target 09, and I've got coordinates and position information. And I can even expand that data block as well and get more information about it. So that worked perfectly. John sent me a target there. Next, if I go to the top left, we've got RPT. This is for reports. Now, this is both sending... Oh, that's my radar warning receiver shouting at me. I can both send and receive. Now, very important thing to note at the beginning is that we have this reply mode at the bottom. Currently it's in auto. This means that if other Datalink members ask me for like present position or farm, which is fuel, ammo, rockets and missiles, my aircraft will automatically respond with that information without prompting me. If I switch it to off, I will then get the message and I'll have to manually send. Normally you're going to want this in auto. Now, we've got all these different types. BDA will transmit my shot markers. TGT will transmit all of my current FCR targets. PP is my present position. And farm, as I said, is fuel, ammo, rockets and missiles. SIT, SPOT, ATHS, RT, and AF at the present time are not implemented. So that's why you've got these little toggles beside them. So anyway, let's start off with present position. That's a nice one. If I choose PP, you can see at the bottom I've got the option to either message send or message request. I'm going to do message request. And I'm just going to leave John boxed. By default it boxes all your network members. I'm just going to box John, -12, and press send. His aircraft immediately responded automatically, and here's the position of -12 beside me. So that's nice and simple. I'm now going to send my present position to John as well. Hit that. John will now have me on his TSD. Can you confirm?
I can indeed. Got a PP report.
Nice. So if I come back out of PP, let's take a look at farm. It's very, very similar. Note that when you do farm requests, they also include present position. So rather than, like, I don't know why you would do PP without just doing a farm. Farm is probably more useful. So again, with farm, I've got the option to request or to send it. I'm going to request farm from John. I'm going to deselect the other members here and hit send. That will have been received. He hasn't moved, so the marker is in the same place. Note that this marker is not live. There isn't kind of live wingman situational awareness in the Apache like there is in many Link 16 systems. If I come back out of report, and if I go into coordinates, at the bottom of the coordinates page is an option for farm. If I click farm, I'll see this farm report from John. So he's G12, that's the time I received it. Fuel, gun, rockets, we've got RF Hellfires and laser Hellfires. This is the basic type of report. I can click here though, and I can get present position, which is showing up there. I can get his expendables, so it'll tell me his chaff and flares, and I can choose missile, and it'll give me details on his missile loadout as well. So there you go. That's what farm looks like. Nice and simple. If we go back into reports, we also have BDA and targets. To demonstrate those, though, we need to make use of the FCR. Now, note that John is not equipped with an FCR, but he is equipped with radar Hellfires. So you might say, how is he going to use those laser Hellfires? Well, of course, he could use the TADs. But if he wants to actually use them against an FCR target, I could do the scanning for him because I have an FCR. So, I bring up the FCR, I make the FCR my currently selected sensor. I'm going to do a single scan and wait for all of those targets to come back. And there's now 3 different things that we can do with this. I can do a radio frequency handover. This will transmit my next to shoot, and of course I could cycle my next to shoot first. This will transmit my next to shoot with him as a complete track with enough information to make a Hellfire shot. Now obviously time is of the essence. The longer I wait to transmit this, the more nonsense it is. Or if I go to the TSD, I can simply transmit all of these targets for the purposes of situational awareness. That's also kind of useful. And then the last thing I could do is I could transmit my shot markers, but I actually haven't made any shots as yet. So let's send all of these to John first. I'm going to go ahead and choose report, target. I can do my primary or all. I'm going to choose all in this instance, and I'm just going to select John again and hit send.
Received.
Received. So John now has a bunch of targets. However, he cannot engage them using just this information. I guess he could, like, kind of try and look at them using the TADs and sort of fudge it, but that's not very useful. What we're now going to do is we're going to RF hand over one of these targets to John. He's going to engage it, and he's then going to send me back his BDA report, which is effectively his shot markers. In fact, we'll probably get John to fire on 2 of these targets, just to make it interesting. So we're going to go FCR. I'm going to repeat the scan, so our data is up to date. That's my primary target. I can now press RF handover. I can choose -12, which is John, and I can hit send.
Received.
Okay, you're clear to engage.
So I'm going to select FCR as my site select. Watting Hellfires. Got a target. Rifle.
Yeah, we're going to get a warning from our CWAS. Let's see if I can see where this is. Oh, splash. Or shack, I should say. So I visually saw that target explode. Fantastic. Let's find another one for him. And this one's actually moving, so this will be a little bit of a challenge. I'm going to do a fresh scan for it. Okay, I've selected it. I'm going to hand it off to John. I'm doing this one quickly. You should have that.
Received. Got a target. Rifle.
Time is of the essence with this one. I think it's maybe this vehicle here. I can't 100% tell. But it was a moving wheeled vehicle, and John has engaged it. Shack. That was a good hit. That was a good hit, despite it being old target info and it taking a little bit of time. Okay, fantastic. So if I go back to the TSD now, actually I'm going to zoom this down a little. I'm going to do report. I'm going to do BDA. I'm going to switch it from send to request. And I think for this one, John, you won't actually get any confirmation. I think your helicopter will just respond to me. So if I box 1-2 and hit send, it made a funny noise. BDA report. Okay, so it sounds like I did receive it. If I go back to the main page, yes, true enough, I have receive. I can click receive. I've got a BDA report from G12. I can choose it, and the shot markers are on the screen for me. So if I zoom down a little bit, I've got a shot marker here and a shot marker here. That's really, really nice. I guess I could maybe make this easier to see if I take away the FCR targets. Am I in the wrong phase? That's interesting. FCR targets, I'm decluttering, and they don't go away. I wonder why that is. Oh well. We'll not worry too much about that. In any case, we can see the shot markers. So that's BDA, that's target, that's PP, and that's farm. And we also demonstrated the RF handover. Next, we're going to take a little look at battlefield area management. So going to reset, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're all reset. I'm back on the main page of the TSD. You can still see my FCR targets and the shot markers, but now we're going to take a little look at the BAM page, the Battle Area Management System, which is priority fire zones and no fire zones. I demonstrated this system in the previous tutorial, but I skipped over the data link kind of aspect of it, which we'll now cover. First though, let's go into reports, and we'll get a farm from John, so we have an updated position and kind of weapons report on him. Okay, that's been received. We can come out report, go into coordinates, farm, there he is, that's updated, and we can see that he's down to 6 missiles. So that's really good. Still has some fuel, excellent. So we can come out of farm now. We're going to go into BAM, and I'm going to create priority fire zones and a no fire zone. Note that you can only ever have one set of these at a time. So I'm first going to create them and send them to John. That will overwrite anything that he currently has, and we'll show how the assignment of that works. I'll then get him to create some zones and send them to me, and I'll show you how those look. So I'm going to leave it in automatic. I'm only going to create 2 zones because there are just 2 of us, and I'll draw a box 1. If you want more detail on how this all works, look at my previous tutorial. So those are my 2 priority fire zones. I'm going to activate PF1 for myself, I'm going to assign PF2 to John, and I can do that using ASN at the top and choose -12. You can... Now, that doesn't look right. Why does that not look right? If I come out of assign, back into assign, it seems to have assigned in PF... Oh, because I had PF1 selected. Okay, right, that was my mistake. I need to make sure I select PF2, then select John, and now it shows -12 over PF2. Perfect. I can now come out of the assignment mode, and I'm going to flip over to NF for no fire zones, and I'm going to draw a no fire zone around us down here. I'm going to accept that zone and activate it for myself, and that's now all done perfectly. Now note, whether I'm in PF or NF, I have controls down here for transmit both. Normally hitting send will just send the current type. So if I hit send now, I would just send John my no fire zone. If I hit it now, I would just send him the priority fire zone. If I box transmit both, it will send him both. And I can choose who it's going to go to. I'm just going to leave -12 boxed and hit send.
Received.
Excellent. So what John would do to receive that is on the main TSD page, he would have REC at the left again. He would click that and choose it, and it would immediately be displayed and overwrite everything. And John, just to confirm, you should be showing PF2 as assigned to you.
Indeed. Own is PF2.
Excellent. So I wonder if you could create a new set of priority fire and no fire zones and send them to me, and we'll see what that looks like.
Roger that.
And as before, note that when I receive these, they will overwrite my current zones. You can only have one set of these zones at any given time.
Send.
There we go. I heard the noise. On my EUFD, I've got PF/NF zone as a message. I can choose receive, and then I can choose the PF/NF zone. Immediately, my zones are overwritten. And it's activated PF1, so I assume that's the one you assigned to me.
Absolutely.
And if I go into the BAM page, yeah, it confirms that that's the one currently showing for me. Excellent. So that is everything that we can currently do with the Datalink. I demonstrated the stuff that you can do in the COM page with regards to messages, and also confirming your kind of ownership information. On the TSD, I demonstrated the reports functionality and the point functionality. You also have the battlefield area management that I showed just now, and in the FCR, we have RF handover. I hope you enjoyed that. Fly safe, and I'll see you next time. Say goodbye, John.
Bye.